Hello, guys. It's Chase First Place here, and today I decided to rate what my favorite paint scheme was for every driver that made the chase this year. Enjoy. First off, we have Alex Bowman's Valvoline car. And oh my god, this is just such a good car, in my opinion. I love the blue in the back and how it goes from red to blue to back to white to the front, and it looks so good. So, yeah, this is by far his best paint scheme of the year. Next, we have Eric Jones's Sports Clips car. This is the paint scheme he used at Darlington. And he had this silver car that came close to taking the top spot, but I just think this just looks a little better than that. So, yeah, this is Eric Jones's best paint scheme of the year, in my opinion. So, this Jimmie Johnson car is incredible. I would put this in maybe like the top 5 for best paint schemes of the whole year out of any driver. I mean, it just looks so good. The stars going down the side of the car. He ran this at Charlotte. Yeah, it's just a really good car and by far his best of the year. Next up, we have Austin Dillon. Now, he didn't have too many different paint schemes this year, but he had a few interesting ones. But I would just say this car is the best with that red stripe going down the side, and the blue and the silver just look so good together. So, yeah. Now, some people may disagree with me on this one. My favorite Clint Bowyer car was his Darlington throwback scheme. I know that some people didn't like this car, but I don't know what it is, but this just really sticks out to me, and I love it. I just love how old school the car is, and I think it looks amazing. Next, we have yet another Darlington scheme, and it's Denny Hamlin's. Now, I didn't really like Hamlin's paint schemes too much this year, but this one I think is decent. I really like the font of the number 11, and it's a nice simple car, and I think it looks pretty cool. Finishing 10th in the 2018 season was Ryan Blaney, and he brought some pretty cool paint jobs to the track this year. But man, this one is by far the best. It looks so good. Probably one of the best of any paint schemes of the whole year. Just how the color fades from blue to white and has that rainbow of colors on the side. It looks so good. Next, we have yet another incredible paint scheme. Kyle Larson's Credit One Bank car. It just looked so good this year. The blue and the white go so well together. Now, I was close of putting his McDonald's car on this list instead, but I don't know. I just like the Credit One Bank a little more than the McDonald's car. Brad Keselowski has some pretty interesting cars this year, but my favorite just had to be the patriotic Charlotte scheme he ran. I just think the red stripes on the side look so good, combining with the blue and white stars. And yeah, I just think this is his best scheme of the year. Kurt Busch finished 7th in the standings this year, and he had, mediocre cars. Besides his Darlington car, which was my favorite of the year. It just looks so good. It was actually a throwback to Ricky Craven, a big fight he had at Darlington for the lead, like, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And this is just a really good car. Chase Elliott was a really hard decision for me. He had quite a bit of good schemes this year. He had the Kelley Blue Book one. His Darlington one was cool. His Baja Blast Mountain Dew was really close to me putting on this list, along with that Sun Energy car that he won at Watkins Glen with. So a lot of good paint schemes, but this Kelley Blue Book car just edges them out with that, how well the blue and white goes together, and it looks so good under the lights. I think that would be my favorite chase scheme of this year. My favorite Eric Almirola paint scheme would have to be the one he ran at Charlotte. The front of this car is basically the same as his normal black and white Smithfield car, but the side just looks so good with the patriotic colors. Eric had some other decent cars this year, like his Mobil 1 car, similar to Harvick's. And he had a light blue car. And he also had the Smithfield Bacon one, which I liked a lot. But I still think this patriotic car was the best of all the ones he did. Finishing 4th in the standings this year was Kyle Busch. And boy, he was probably the hardest paint scheme to choose, which was his best. So, looking through all of his schemes, it's a really hard choice, but I would have to say his black Skittles car comes out on top. Now, I don't know why I just love the black with the M&Ms on it. I just think they go so well together. But it was really close between that car, his caramel M&Ms car, his Skittles car, and basically every scheme he runs is great. So it was a really hard choice. For me, the Kevin Harvick paint scheme choice was pretty easy. He ran some mediocre cars throughout the year, but, I liked his light blue Busch car. But I just think by far his best paint scheme was the Darlington throwback car. The decision for Martin Truex Jr.'s best paint scheme was pretty tough. He ran some pretty good schemes throughout the year, but it really came down to his Homestead car, his Charlotte Roval car, the light blue one, and his Ducks Unlimited car, which he ran at Bristol and a few other tracks. Now, I choose the Ducks Unlimited just because I love the color scheme. All the colors just go so well together on that car, and I would barely edge it out over the Homestead and the Charlotte Roval car. In my opinion, the 2018 NASCAR champion didn't have the best paint schemes this year. But my favorite would have to be his AAA insurance car. I think it looks pretty good. The red and blue and white look well together. They go well together, and yeah, I think it's a decent car. So this concludes my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.